الوفاء بشتى الصور، أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر، فأهل الوفاء كلون السحاب وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور، أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر، فأهل الوفاء كلون السحاب وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. مقامهم فوق رأس الجبال وفوق الروابي وعند القمر. ويا من تحب غياب الوفاء، رأيتك تهوى غياب البصر. كم قائل قد أضعت حياتي وفيا لأجل هناء البشر. أقول له أفلح الأوفياء، وحسب الوفاء يطيل العمر. هنيئا لمن أخلص الحب عمرا، وسحقا لذاك الذي قد غدر. هنيئا لمن
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can everyone hear me now? Okay, great. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam tasliman kathira. اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني أن يفقهوا قولي. اللهم انفعنا بعلمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما والحمد لله على كل حال. Bismillah. Welcome my sisters. This inshallah is a 2-series program. In today's episode, I'll share with you some tips I have in regards to the academic side of school. Some of you might be in university, others, like myself, I'm still in high school, or in some parts of the world it's called secondary school. So inshallah, we'll start talking about, I think, 7 tips. Yeah, I have 7 tips for you guys to have the correct mindset, how to study correctly, how to be organized. So inshallah, I have a link for you guys, an outline that you can follow along. I'll put it in the female events channel. So inshallah, you guys can have it open and follow along as we go, bi'idhnillah. Any questions so far? Okay, I guess not. You guys, like I said, is having the correct mindset. So there's 2 types of mindsets. There's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is one that you don't want to have. So, and if I break up or anything, you guys just let me know, ping me in the chat, okay, inshallah? So I want to start off by saying that you aren't who you were last year. You don't need to worry about your bad grades or the mistakes that you made. You make mistakes, you need to learn from them. I'm pretty sure you'll be taking harder and more demanding classes, so it's definitely not fair to judge how you will perform this year based on what you did last year, right? That doesn't make sense. That's not a good mindset to have. So let me give you an example. Imagine there's a person training to swim 50 meters in a competition, okay? He's a swimmer, he has swim 50 meters. That's just the competition. That's how the length of the pool, that's how he has to swim, okay? So in his first year of training, he swam 25 meters, but he's not he's not satisfied with how fast he was swimming. So he tries to practice, he tries to improve um as much as he can, but when the competition was getting closer and closer and he was trying to practice and improve his performance so that when he competes he can win, he goes all out, he gives it 100%, he does his best, and he feels pretty great. But when the competition comes around, he doesn't win, basically. So it's a loss. It's a cornerstone, basically. And maybe some people can call it a roadblock, some people can call it an obstacle, but I would say it's more of a stepping stone. Like we all make mistakes, okay? Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. That's just how a human is. And if we weren't created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be perfect, then we wouldn't make these mistakes, right? So what's the point of making mistakes if you're not gonna learn from them? So back to the example. When the swimmer doesn't win, his trainer comes and talks to him. So instead of telling the swimmer that there's no use in competing next year because he already lost this year and he tried so hard and he didn't win, um, he tells him to have confidence in himself and at least notice that although he didn't win, at least he got familiar with how the race is, how far he has to swim, feels like. So that next year when he competes, he can come more prepared, more confident, um, and that will lead to better performance. So, right, so that's just scientifically proved. Like when you have experience with a situation and you can say, "Oh, I failed in this time and I failed last time." But when you come back and you try again, like you're bound to do better, inshallah. That's how we improve, that's how we get better. So you don't need to feel bad about making a mistake. You don't have to be you don't have to roll up in a ball and start crying, "Oh, I did so horrible. How am I gonna ever get off of um this low point that I've reached?" And we all have high and low points. We all have the dips and the highs. So it's normal to fail, to fall down, but you have to get up. You have to have that growth mindset. You have to have confidence in yourself, and you have to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't let you go through something unless it's good for you. That's the main point, what I'm trying to teach you guys. That and this you need to keep reminding yourself often over and over that whatever happens to you is something good. Something good will come out of it, even though you don't see it immediately, even though things aren't going the way you want them to go. It's all in Allah's hand. It's His plan. You are His slave. He decides what happens, and He decides what's going to happen right now and in the future. Even though you're not happy with how it's going, you're not seeing the results you want to see. You just have to trust in Allah, have tawakkul, and inshallah, you will get what you want. So I was talking about a growth mindset. Like, what is it, the actual definition of it? Alaikum assalam, Sophia. Welcome, Habibti. So a growth mindset is when you believe you can develop your skills and intelligence through hard and consistent work. So the key words are hard and consistent. You have to keep trying. You have to keep struggling. You have to keep practicing. Like the famous quote, "Practice makes perfect." That had to come from somewhere, right? You have to keep trying, um, getting out of your comfort zone. You have to keep putting yourself in uncomfortable situations because that's how you'll get stronger. That's how you'll get better at what you're trying to do. That's how you're gonna get closer to achieving your goals. So that's a growth mindset. Um, Let me give another example. This one is more relevant to us, like as students. So say you get a C on a test, you got a bad grade. Instead of having a fixed mindset and saying or seeing the C as a setback, you see this as an opportunity to improve, to work on your study habits, be more productive, and you use this as motivation to inshallah get a better grade. On the next exam, when you have a growth mindset, you're gonna see that even if I get the worst grades, at least one good grade will be better than having like four bad grades. So if you have 5 exams, you got C's on the three of them, instead of saying, "Oh, it's already too late for me. I already have a bad grade. There's no way I'm gonna get it up. There's no way I'm gonna get my grade up to be good enough to an A." At least having 3 C's and 2 A's is better than having 5 C's. That's how a growth mindset should be. So the person with a fixed mindset, on the other hand, they just think that their skills and their intelligence are set in stone. There's no way for them to improve. They don't have any motivation. They're just saying, "This is how the world is. I'm just gonna keep getting bad grades. There's no way for me to improve." Things like that. That's what their subconscious mind is telling them all the time. Um, so to get this growth mindset, at least try to take every opportunity that comes your way to improve. Always stay on the grind set, as they say. Don't stop improving and stop settling for less. You have to set boundaries. You have to set yourself up for success. You need to have high standards for yourself because that's how you will improve. If you're in a study group with classmates who just want to quote unquote pass the class, then you gotta change those expectations, sweetheart. You want to improve. You surround yourself with people who want to improve because if you don't, sooner or later you're also gonna just want to quote unquote pass the class. You're just gonna settle for the least. You're gonna be like, "Oh, an 82 is the same as a 96. I passed the class." That's an example of a fixed mindset. Like I said, there's no point in getting a 96 because like a 91 or a 92 will just count as A's. Why not just aim for the highest? I cannot tell you how much I hate this mindset. You are literally holding yourself back. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted you the knowledge and ability to get the highest grades, go get the highest grades. Don't settle for less. Don't just waste your skills and intelligence like that. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you the ability to want more and strive to better yourself. So, is anyone following along from the outline that I sent? Did you guys get the link? I'm just gonna stop right now and ask if there are any questions so far. Yes? Okay, alhamdulillah. Any questions so far? Okay, great. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan, Sophia. Okay, so that was the most important step, I think, is to is to have the right mindset. Always think that you can grow. Always think that you can improve. You can always get better. There's no limit to how much you can succeed. So that's having a growth mindset. Now, the second tip I want to give you guys, more of an organizational tip, and I think this is actually pretty fun. So it's going to be decluttering both your physical and your digital workspace. So I'm going to explain this in two stages, first digitally and then physically. So to declutter digitally, all the homework, all the PDFs, all the study sheets that your professors or teachers sent you from last year, you're just going to organize them. Now, does anybody know how to use Google Drive? Or have you at least used it before? Okay, great. Um, so the way I would set it up is I have three folders. First, academics, extracurriculars, and then other. So in academics, you're going to put folders for each class, your math, your science, your English, and then keep all of your files, all of your online notes, all of your study sets in each folder for each subject. That way, nothing's just flying around in the main menu. When you open up Google Drive, there's not just a bunch of files all over the place. You can just be more organized. And being more organized helps you be quicker, it helps you improve faster, it just gives you this setup, this lineup for you to succeed. So that's the first thing. Um, make a folder for each subject, and then and as you go through the year, just add things into those folders. And if you have like these random, I know I have these files that don't really fit in anywhere, so that's where you would put it in the third folder, which I called other. Now, extracurriculars, that can be, like sports. If you're doing that, you could do, some people, they're in like the newspaper club. So anything that's not academic related, that would go in extracurriculars. And the odd things out, that would go in the other tab. Does that make sense so far? I think this is a pretty normal method. I've seen a lot of people use it. So, does this sound new to anybody? Okay, I'm gonna guess not. Okay, so that was my advice for organizing and decluttering digitally. Now, physically is like your desk, your backpack, space around you. So, you're gonna take out all the garbage in your book bag, like all the tissues, all the papers, all the crumpled up homework at the bottom of your bag, and just throw that away. You're also like, the system is pretty simple and pretty similar to the digital system. Your pens, notebooks, binders, folders, anything you have in your backpack, and organize it in a way that is specific to you. Like, I know for me, I have a notebook for each class, and then let's say a folder. So I put the folder in front of the notebook so they don't get all mixed up. That's just specifically for me. So find out what works for you and stick to it. I don't care if people are like, oh, your backpack is so messy. If you can find it, if you can reach in your hand and pull out exactly what you need so fast, then that is perfect. You have to find a system that works for you. And remember that everybody's special, even in backpacks. As simple as a backpack that you can make it yourself. You can have give me a second. You can personalize your own backpack. Okay, so where were we? We were decluttering physically. So this includes your desk, your backpack. We went over that. So that's actually the fun part for me, actually. I love decluttering. I love cleaning. It's kind of like a self-care for me. I just kind of like de-stress. It's all fun and games. You can listen to Quran when you're doing it. It's just getting your new pens and notebooks out is just a different feeling. Okay. Any questions so far? Nope. Okay. Just a kilogram thing then. Okay, so that was the second point. Now the third point is called reducing distractions. No more TikTok, no more Instagram, no more YouTube. Now, this is crucial to reduce or even get rid of anything that's distracting you, everything that's holding you back. So, after this, I want you to go delete all the apps that you're spending too much time on, turn off the notifications, set time limits, and don't do it based on like a vibe check. You're like, oh, I'm not using YouTube that much, so I'll just keep it right now. If you do that, then I know you're just gonna come one day and be like, oh, I'm bored, let's take a break from studying. You're gonna end up watching um like 3 hours continuously. So that's when you have to set the time limits, and don't do them so strictly. Like, don't set 10 minutes because, when the notification pops up, oh, you reached your time limit for this, you're just gonna say, oh, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, and then you're just gonna keep in that endless loop. So at least set time limits if you don't want to delete any. At least set time limits and make them realistic. Don't do like 15 minutes. And the best way to see how much time you're spending, just look at your screen time. Look at um how much time you're spending on each app and start by decreasing it 15 minutes each week. So you don't go from like, oh, right now for me personally, I use Discord the most. And I have like an hour and a half, 2 hours time on it. So I would set it to an hour and 45 minutes the first week, then an hour and 30 minutes the second week. Or I could just use Do Not Disturb. That usually works for me. I could put my phone somewhere else in a different room. I could set a Pomodoro timer that locks all my apps so I can't open them. And I can just focus on whatever the topic I am doing so I won't get distracted. So first option, delete everything. And I usually don't like that because you're just 2 weeks in, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so stressed out. I need to calm down, and you're gonna reinstall everything, and then you just keep going in a loop. So if you are comfortable with that, just delete everything. Second option is just to set time limits for everything. That's one I like to use because you still need to have fun, okay? I'm not expecting anybody to study 8 hours a day and then right after school, which is already like 8 and 9 hours. So that's just unrealistic. You need to have some me time. You need to have just some time for yourself. So that's completely realistic. Everyone needs that. Everybody needs a little break from the day in, day out routine. So if you don't want to do time limits, you can just set focus mode. Like I said, I use Freedom. The app is called Freedom, and I use it both for study sessions and to keep my phone away from me whenever I want to use it. It just basically locks all the apps. I can't open them unless I end the session, of course. But yeah, it's pretty helpful. Oh, or you could add another thing I just remembered is called grayscale. I'm using that right now and I really, really hate it. That's the entire point. You really need something that makes you hate your phone. So grayscale just turns everything black and white and it's super annoying for me. I just want to look at pictures. I just want to go through old videos and it's just so disencouraging to see everything in black and white. It just seems like all the colors just been sucked out, all the life of everything is gone. So I really, really don't like my phone. I usually don't use it that much anymore, and I've seen a huge drop in my screen time. But the thing is, like I said, it doesn't work for everybody because usually people will just hate it. It's just really ugly and it just ruins everything and they just need their phone. So it doesn't work for everyone. It works for me, so that's why I recommended it to you guys. So try it out. If it doesn't work, then that's fine. The focus mode should do its job, but in the end of the day, it's all up to you. It's how disciplined you are, and you hold yourself accountable. You say, okay, I have to study right now. Am I gonna go watch Instagram right now, or am I gonna get this done? And am I gonna stay on track? So it's all up to you at the end of the day. These little hacks, these little tips, they're just motivations, they're just little helpers for you to get started up. So, first thing, yeah, try different ways to find your way to succeed. Perfect. That's a great way of wording it, just like an author and stuff. Yeah. So first thing, you could delete the app. Second thing, you could set time limits. Third thing is the focus modes. They're called focus modes on iPhone. Android, they're called, I think, don't disturb. I have an Android, not an iPhone, so I'm not sure how it works with different phones. And then the grayscale, which is like, I think the smallest thing. It doesn't work for a lot of people, but yeah, I just wanted to recommend it to you guys. Okay, any questions so far? Yeah, make a quote out of it. Does everything make sense so far? Yep. Okay, perfect. Now, another, the fourth thing I want to talk about is an organization method that is actually, I organize these, or I made four different levels because I think it just depends on the person and how much work you have, because there's no point in having this super detailed outline for each of your days and having a routine for each day of the week if you really don't have that much. Okay, it's just a waste of time. It's, you're thinking about it too much and you just need something simple that works for you. So four levels of the organization system I have. One is just a notebook and a pen. It's simple as that. You could just write in the beginning of the day, this is what I have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. And that's basically it. It's literally so simple. Just a pen and a notebook. I think this one, I used to use it in middle school when I didn't have that much work. Um, or you could just write deadlines for assignments, exams, just literally anything. This is literally the simplest you could go. The second level is using a calendar, like a Google Calendar, because that one, it lets you get more specific and the so you can go hour by hour. You can customize the color of each event, so it just gives you more options. All your events, all your obligations. So like you could do, and I think you can because it's all Google, you can import things from Google Drive. You can have colors for your folders, and then so like say you have a folder for biology and you choose the color for it is blue, you could go over to Google Calendar and set the events like your class time. Okay, let's say 8 to 10 in the morning. So you could set an event for that and you'd color it blue. So it just gives you more options to stay organized. It gives you more freedom to personalize it. So that was the second level. The third level is having like a specialized to-do list app. And these usually, you could just use the to-do list app on iPhone. I think it's called To Do It, or I'm not sure. It's called Google Keep for Androids. You could just, and these ones you can customize it, set you notifications at a specific time. So, and you can turn on locations. So, like, say you're walking to school, you could set a notification like, remember to do dhikr, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah. You could, that simple as that. You can literally customize it however you want. You can turn on the location setting, and so you can personalize it to wherever you are. Your phone's just gonna automatically send you a notification, a reminder, or what's gonna happen right now. So that's the third level. You can set up um a completely personalized routine based on location and time. And the fourth level is actually like people call it the second brain. So it's literally so in depth and so organized that all you have to do is just open up the file and read what you have to do, and your brain automatically does this. Now, this is the one I use right now. I use it on Notion. Has anyone used Notion before? I don't have to explain it, what it is. Oh, hi, Miasim. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Okay. Oh, yeah, you were the one. Actually, yeah, you were the one behind that. Genius, mashallah. Okay, so most of you guys know what Notion is. Fiki barakallah, alhamdulillah. Um, so I don't have to actually explain it. So in the outline, you guys, so we're on point, what is it, 4? Yeah. So I made you guys a Notion page, and I want to stress on the fact that if you don't have much to plan, if you don't have, like, your workload doesn't require a lot, then you don't need this. There's no point in having this much to worry about. So let me just put the link so you guys can have it. So I call you can name it whatever you want. You can call it, um, Sophia's home. You can call it, um, Muthaina's treehouse. You can call it Mia Elslam's fun little place. I just called it the second brain because I was out of ideas. So this one, you can do whatever you want. You can, um, maybe I should share my screen. Yeah, I should do that. Yay, alhamdulillah. So this one, I put 2 links so you can, so this is how it looks like. You can change this icon. You can change, I forgot what they call these. Is it banner? Yeah. So the first step you need to do is press this duplicate button, and then it's gonna copy it over to your Notion account, and then you can change it here because you can't, like, I can't write. I'm typing on my keyboard. I can't write anything here. So you have to press duplicate or else you're not gonna have it. So this right here, I put it, it's super helpful, especially for us that we have like classes outside, usually during the Horas when we don't know the time. So I put this link here. You can click on it, and it's automatically gonna pick on your location, and it's gonna write down the times for Salah. Now when you do that, when you click on this, right now for me it already said it. So I'm gonna take this URL, copy it, and then paste it in here, and it's gonna show as this. Like, you can change the size and everything, you can change the dimensions, but in the end it's just gonna look like this one right here. So this is a picture. You can actually embed pictures, whatever you want. So yeah, this one is, if you scroll down, this is a weather widget, and it's also for my location right now. It's pretty cloudy. I put this just because for us when we're walking to school, is it gonna be like, oh, is it gonna rain? Especially because winter is coming. So yeah, I thought that would be pretty helpful. So these 2 things, you can customize it however you want. You can add pictures, you can delete anything, you can rename it, you can do whatever you want. This, I put a database. This you can put in whatever your daily schedule is. So if you have a class from 9 to 10, you would just write it here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I did it hourly. You can use it as a study schedule. You can use it to organize appointments, etc. And if you're gonna use it, the important point, if you're gonna use it as a study schedule, make sure to put study breaks, like put study breaks, because if it shows here So this would be what, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and then 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. You're not going to study for 3 hours straight. So make sure you account for that. Make sure you add breaks. Make sure that you're not studying so you get burnt out and then you're going to be like, I'm so exhausted. I'm not going to study anymore. So here we have 3 little sub tabs. I'll start with classes. This one I just took from mine and I copied it over. This is a notebook. It has all of the classes side by side and you can look at them. And obviously these will change to rename this. So let's say I have biology instead of chemistry. So this is going to change and it'll show biology. So it's the classes tab. I'm going to go back here. Now assignments and exams. This one is also a database. So you can write your assignment name. You can change the type. I just put lessons here. So let's say you have an exam. So write the exam and choose a type. It's an exam, not a lesson or a class. You'll pick the course for it, and then the date and status. If you started studying for it, if you finished it, if you're in the process of it, and then any notes or any grades you have. This is a calendar. It'll automatically import any assignment names here. It'll already show them here on this calendar. This is another tab. It's for active recall. Now, if you're following the outline right here, I have it open. These are 3 active recall methods that I love. Blurting, actually, I'll just start with like active recall as a whole. So active recall, it's a type of study method that you're actively recalling, like hence the name, you're actively recalling information from your brain. So if you're doing like flashcards, for example, I think that's the best active recall method. If you're doing flashcards and you set them up so that one side has a question or a formula, if we're doing maths or some type of science, you need to remember your brain is going to dig deep and figure out, okay, how do I solve this problem? So you're actively searching inside your brain for the information to answer that question. So that when you flip the flashcard, you can see, okay, did I get it right? And know if you got it wrong, there's going to be an explanation for that. And I should have named this as spaced repetition and not active recall, my bad. So spaced repetition is another method of active recall. So active recall is the umbrella, and a little branch of it is called spaced repetition. So this is when you repeatedly review information so that you don't forget it, so that 2 weeks later it's still fresh, you can still remember, you still understand it. And the way to do it is to review it periodically. So let's say I have review the periodic table. So repetition 1, I'm gonna set a date for that. And once you put a date for it in here, it's gonna automatically auto-populate repetition 2, 3, and 4. Now there's gonna be a day between repetition 1 and 2, 3 days between 2 and 3, and 5 days between 3 and 4. So that, well, because the idea behind spaced repetition is to review everything as time gets longer so that you can like strengthen the information and make sure that it's still in your brain, you still understand it. So that's why you do it like every day, every 3 days, every 5 days until you reach the point where you don't have to review it anymore, right? It's kind of like, how did we memorize the multiplication tables back in elementary school? We had to keep going over them. We were like, okay, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15, right? So that's the same idea here. Obviously, for us, it's more complicated information. It takes longer. You're obviously more stressed out, but inshallah, this little plan can keep you organized and keep you on track. So that's spaced repetition and active recall. Now there are two more things in active recall. One is blurting. We already talked about flashcards and mind maps. So blurting is after you review something, like from a textbook, for example, you are just going to take a blank sheet of paper and write down everything that you can just remember, like everything. Formulas, facts, equations, dates if you're doing history. Write down everything that you know, and then when you're done, go back to your notes and open up your textbook and then see what you forgot or what you didn't talk about, and then you're gonna expand on that. So take like a red sticky note or like something, a color that can grab your attention, and you are going to write on it everything that you missed. So then you can study that and also review the things that you did get right so you don't forget that and then remember the other stuff. You want to remember everything that you learned. Okay, inshallah. So that's blurting. The second thing is mind mapping. This is more of I never really tried it with the science ones. I just did it for history. This is more of like an overview way of looking at things from like a big point of view, like you're looking over a map, or you just need like you don't need to go into the tiny details. So like you can do okay, when historians or conquistadors were exploring North America and South America, that can be the title of your mind map. And then you can go and make branches out of, say, each explorer. What was his name? What were they doing? Where are they from? What did they do? What route did they take? What did they explore? And so, yeah, that's how a mind map is. And I think blurting and mind mapping is a little bit related, but, well, because you're both, for both methods, you're retrieving data or information and you're actively trying to remember what you learned. So those are the three methods: blurting, flashcards, mind maps, that I have for you, and then spaced repetition that goes for everything, for each course, for each class. You just, it's a way of studying, basically. Any questions so far? Let me check the score. Alhamdulillah. Okay, no questions. Now, this is just an extra thing. It's an overview of all your classes. And I don't want to go too much into this. I kind of want you guys to go explore by yourself and see all the little things I added. Um, these are just a little extra things, and you can put your birthday here if you want. This is a little quote, and inshallah I'll go over this. Yeah, this is actually the thing that Miaosum was talking about. I just stole it and put it here. But we'll go over that tomorrow, inshallah. So I think that's it. Let me go back to Discord. I mean, yes, inshallah. I want everyone to know that this is Miaosum. She made it, not me. Jazakallah khairan, ukhti. Any questions so far? No, it's not ours. I didn't help. Okay, alhamdulillah, wa iyaki fadlan. Wa iyaki Miaosum. Okay, so let me see, where did we stop? that was basically the big chunk of what I wanted to talk to you guys about, just organizing, having the right mindset, and a little freebie with Muslims. Um, just two more things. Point tip number 6 would be just don't do it alone and don't go solo. What I mean by that is don't always study by yourself. Don't always be like, oh, it's just me by myself. I'm grinding by myself. I'm studying by myself. Don't just hide in the library and be by yourself all the time. You need some type of companion in your journey. You need some type of backup. Um, so it's kind of like a balance. You don't want to go to the two extremes. Like, oh, I'm always by myself all the time. Like, I'm always surrounded by annoying classmates that don't even study and they just eat during the study sessions. You don't want that either. So you want maybe like one or two, maybe even three, and that should be enough in your little study group. And I talked about it in the beginning. You don't want to have um people that are holding you back. Make sure they have the same, or at least a little bit similar of goals that you want, because you don't want a person that's aiming for B when you're aiming for a high A. You don't want that person because they'll end up just holding you back. Like you'll be a good example for them and they can learn from you. But then they'll be having a bad example on you and they'll be holding you back. So make sure it goes both ways. You're all building on each other. You're all benefiting from each other. You can share lessons that you learned from the past. You can share examples that you learned. You can share little tips with each other. Just um, little things that you can benefit with your classmate. So like keep it small and simple, but then don't go all on your own because you'll get lonely and then stay by yourself for too long, you'll start hanging out with the bad people, the people that'll hold you back, people that'll have a bad effect on you, etc. And good classmates. That was a sixth tip number 6. Now the last one, number 7, is to get on your teacher's good side. And I mean this by like not becoming their best friend. But I mean try to build a good relationship with them. Try to get closer from them. Like if they're a bad teacher, then obviously can drop the class and register with another professor or teacher. But we don't really have that option for most of us as high school students. Um, so if they're bad, obviously stay away from them. But you want to learn from them. You want to learn from their experience. They're here to teach you. You want to take as much information from them as you can. You want to, like I said, build a good relationship with them. I don't want you to be like, stick to them just to take a letter of recommendation from them. That's just want, um, your intention, your, set, like I said in the beginning, make sure that you're here for the right reason. You want to learn from them, learn from their experience. They're here to teach you. If you have questions, they should be someone you're comfortable to go ask for help. They should be um like your little sidekick or or like person on your side quest. If you need help from them, they should be there to answer questions for you. So this could be like going up to them after class, talking with them. Just build your relationship and try to get a good foundation with them. And yeah, I'm using the word relationship too much. I just kind of ran out. Um, but yeah, that was it. My last tip was just to get on the good side of your teacher, because you might never know when you need them. If you need help with something, if you need uh, advice for something and want to follow the same path as they did. For example, if it's like an English teacher and you want to go into English or some type of humanity, you can go ask them, okay, hey, what did you do? How did you get your degree? How did you know that this is something you want to pursue? Etc., etc. So just take from your teacher, like it can be somebody you learn from, somebody that went through this path that you want to go through. جزاكنا خير مثلا you put so Athena put a form for you guys, inshallah, if possible. Please fill it out and give us feedback about what you guys would like to see. If you like this event, inshallah, I'll have the part 2 tomorrow, bi'idhnillah. And guys, it's kind of like a spoiler in the outline. I already put the part 2 in there. Inshallah, if you can, try to join us tomorrow. And any questions before we close off? Oh, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you, would it be? Put the link for the outline and let me send it again. And wait. Alrighty, any questions? Oh, and also I was recording, so inshallah I'll send this over to you guys. Inshallah. Oh yeah, Sophia, go ahead. أختي. Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Praying in public, like I also did that. I remember in the winter, because unfortunately I live in a place where they do the daylight saving thing. So Doha would always be before my class, and I didn't have any space except the like right in front of the classroom. I would just pray Doha there, and I'd always be afraid of like somebody coming up behind me, like doing whatever. But I guess I mean, yani, nothing bad. You have to believe that nothing bad will happen to you. And if Allah wants you to pray in front of everyone, then that's how you're gonna pray. And remember that were you trying to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are you afraid of people calling you names? Like if you're going to physically be dangered, if somebody's gonna come and like beat you up or something, then first protect yourself, find like a little, like not every campus has this, but at least try to find little corner in the parking lot or something, and you can pray there. I know maybe in the library, if you have like a study room, you could do it there. Like, yeah, I don't know. This is just some struggle of today's day and age, and I'm actually kind of figuring it out myself too. Um, yeah, I just for this semester, I tried to get all of my morning classes in for any salah, so I don't think I'll have that problem. But I did have it before. Yeah, I mean, may Allah keep us. I mean, like I know it's hard to keep your deen the first priority when everyone else is trying to walk over you and tell you, oh, you can just do it later. Well, no, I can't because next salah is gonna come and I want to pray on time. So I don't really have any advice. You also have any advice? Or does anyone have any advice or ideas for that point? Okay, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can try doing that. Oh, the other Muslim students one? Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, hi, Muslim.
Hi, Mayumi. I feel like universities will inshallah be better than school. If you're in like USA, you most probably have like Muslim student association in university or Muslim groups, and usually I didn't even know like my university had like a prayer room specifically for sisters. It was down in the basement. It was in such a shady place, but yeah, I've done so in such random places like you wouldn't even know. And yeah, inshallah, when you have intention to like do something for the sake of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely, shows way to you. And I'm sorry if you had like a bad experience with your school teachers. I know like being a new revert or anything you do, like there are instances when you face discrimination or you might feel like a stranger. But yeah, still it reminds me of a hadith of Prophet Muhammad, which I've listened to like, Islam started as something strange and it will go being to strange and give glad tidings to strangers. And yeah, at the end, you should know. Yeah. If you have no one, you always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you. I'm sorry about the noise.
It's okay. Yeah, inshallah, it's all good. Nothing bad ever happens if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses it.
Yeah, no goodness or harm can come our way unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills it. So like no human can
Definitely.
take away opportunities from you or give to you unless your creator wills it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah. So any other questions, you girls? Alhamdulillah. This was so fun. It was so fun for me, and I was doing all the talking anyway. Alhamdulillah. Wafiki barakallah. Okay, inshallah, that was helpful for all of you guys. Inshallah, I left you with a little bit to think about, and inshallah, tomorrow I'll be able to do it. The second part, inshallah. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.